Crimelife 2 is a city sandbox game in the vein of GTA, but honestly it's not a very good emulation of what GTA is. For one thing, the game feels really stiff. I don't know if it's because there's just not enough frames in the animation, or the physics are stiff because of another reason, but everything just feels really robotic. From walking around to driving various vehicles. I am crime robot, I commit crime, I kill people, danger, danger. The game's overall physics are honestly just horrible. When you run into people, it just looks awful. They just kind of fall on their knees and die. When you shoot people, it's the same thing. They just fall on their knees, you shoot them again, and then they die. This really is just a city of robots. Every action, even the action of dying, where the person doesn't have control over it, is very stiff. And of course, this game does have its share of glitches. The draw distance in this game is just abysmal. I'm not sure if maybe there's a way to change that. I didn't really see a way to change it. It's like this entire game is the foggiest 1850s London night you can think of. I think the worst thing in the physics, though, is the way the cars interact with each other. The cars drive pretty stiff, but they're possible to control. I mean, it obviously looks very amateur, but I'm not angry at the way the cars drive because you can get from point A to point B if there was a point B. What sucks about the cars is there's absolutely no interaction with other cars. Like any other car you run into, you can't move it. It's like every other car that you're not driving is an unmovable object. When you have a car pileup, the car that's going to be in the middle, there's no way you'll be able to get it out of the pileup. It simply won't have enough horsepower to budge even the smallest of the other cars. And I couldn't really find any missions. I mean, the game starts off and you walk to your safe house, and in your safe house you can pick up chairs and then change your clothing, and then you just leave your safe house and you run around the city shooting people, stealing different types of cars, driving around, collecting weapons and money. But for as long as I played, I didn't see any NPCs that would give you any type of quest. You know, just a simple, hey, go shoot this guy, he owes me money, or anything like that. It feels like this is just a free-roaming city with no point other than just to kill people and cause stiff, robotic havoc. Oh, and speaking of horrible physics, check out the way this game looks when you go in the water and start swimming, I guess? Well, it's more like walking, honestly. Oh, and don't walk too far off into the water, because if you walk just a little too far off, your city will just disappear, and you will just be lost in nothingness. While I didn't find missions, there are actually things to do in the game other than just aimlessly ride around and kill people. There's like this museum where you look at these black and white drawings. There are stores in the game, and there's also a movie theater. I'm not quite sure how to actually watch the movies, but there is this arcade machine in the theater that lets you play a little mini game that's basically Frogger but with a sheep. I just have to go back to the game's physics. The game's physics combined with just how stupid the AI of everyone in the city is makes for some of the funniest gameplay I have ever experienced. I mean, I appreciate that there are these kind of GTA-type additions to the game to make the city richer, but honestly, none of them do anything for me. Look, I appreciate the effort of making a GTA or Saints Row or a Sleeping Dogs-type clone. But that appreciation aside, the physics in this game are just not very good, and thus the game isn't really fun to play unless you have incredibly low standards. Crimelife 2 for the PC gets a very unimpressive Stan Birdman rating of a 4 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, my friends.